Do you ever feel like the world is closing in, leaving you alone in the silence? Like the laughter of others is muffled, and you're trapped in your own mind? What if I told you that this isolation, the very thing you dread, could be your greatest weapon? Think about the legends, the visionaries, the people who reshaped history. Do you think they found their greatness in a crowd? No. They discovered it in solitude. When the noise of the world faded, they could hear the whisper of their own potential. Isolation is not a punishment. It's a crucible. It's where you face your fears, confront your weaknesses, and shape the raw material of who you are into something extraordinary. But here's the burning question. Will you let the loneliness break you, or will you use it to build yourself? We live in a world addicted to connection, where silence feels like a threat. But true transformation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows, when no one is watching. So I ask you, when you're stripped of everything, friends, applause, distractions, what remains? This isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. In the next few minutes, we'll explore how isolation can become the furnace of greatness. Ready to take the first step into the darkness? Let's begin. Isolation feels heavy, doesn't it? Like a weight pressing down on your chest, making every breath a little harder, every step a little slower. It's not just the absence of people, it's the presence of doubt, fear, and the whispers of failure that echo in your mind. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. These voices thrive in the silence, and facing them feels like walking through fire. But here's the truth. Fire doesn't just destroy, it purifies. The greatest challenge of isolation is not the absence of others, but the confrontation with yourself. Alone, there are no distractions to shield you from your insecurities. Every flaw, every regret, every fear stares back at you. And in that mirror of solitude, you have two choices: break or rebuild. Think about the stories of those who achieved greatness. Nikola Tesla, working late into the night, isolated from a society that couldn't comprehend his genius. J.K. Rowling, writing her first novel in near poverty, rejected over and over again. They didn't become legends because they avoided isolation. They used that time to dig deep, to hone their craft, to silence the doubts that screamed in their heads. But let's not sugarcoat it. This path is brutal. Isolation is the battlefield where you must fight the hardest battles. It's where you'll be tempted to give up because no one is watching. No one is cheering you on. It's easy to feel lost, abandoned even, when the world seems to have moved on without you. The conflict here isn't with others, it's internal. It's the struggle between the part of you that wants to quit and the part of you that refuses to settle. It's the battle against comfort, distraction, and the urge to numb yourself with mindless escapism. Most people run from this fight. They fill the silence with noise, the emptiness with fleeting pleasures. But not you. If you're still here, still listening, then something inside you knows that isolation isn't the end. It's the beginning. Every time you push through the loneliness, every time you silence the voices of doubt, you're forging something unbreakable within yourself. So ask yourself, will you let the weight of solitude crush you? Or will you let it mold you into something stronger? The choice is yours, but make no mistake, it won't be easy. The darkness is relentless, but so is the light waiting to be unleashed within you. You're not alone in this struggle, even if it feels that way. The question now is simple. Will you rise or will you retreat? The answer lies in the battles you fight when no one else is watching. And then it happens. In the depths of isolation, when the weight feels unbearable, something shifts. You realize that the solitude you once feared isn't a prison, it's a forge. The silence that haunted you becomes a symphony of clarity. The darkness transforms into challenges, and the darkness reveals the faint glow of your untapped potential. This is the revelation. Greatness doesn't come from comfort. It's born in the moments when you face yourself fully, raw, unfiltered, and unafraid. Every legend you've ever admired understood this. They didn't just survive their isolation, they thrived in it. They made it their sanctuary, their workshop, their battlefield. In the quiet, you start to hear your own voice, the one drowned out by the opinions of others, the noise of the world, and the distractions of everyday life. That voice, faint at first, grows stronger. It tells you the truths you've avoided, the dreams you've abandoned, and the potential you've ignored. Suddenly, you see the purpose of your struggle. Isolation wasn't tearing you down, it was stripping away everything that wasn't essential. It was removing the masks, the fears, and the false comforts, leaving behind the core of who you are. And that core? It's stronger than you ever imagined. You begin to understand that the pain of isolation was a test, a crucible designed to reveal your true self. The moments of doubt, the nights spent wrestling with your thoughts, the loneliness, they were all necessary. They were sharpening you, preparing you for something greater. Here's the truth no one tells you. The world isn't kind to those who dream big. It will try to break you, distract you, and convince you to settle. But isolation? It's the one place where you can build yourself without interference. It's the place where you can fail, learn, and grow without judgment. This is the turning point. You realize that the power you've been searching for was within you all along. It just needed the right conditions to emerge. And those conditions were forged in the fires of solitude. But with this revelation comes responsibility. You can no longer hide behind excuses or distractions. You've seen your potential, felt the spark of greatness within you. Now you must act. The question is no longer why am I alone, but rather what will I create with this time, this silence, this opportunity. The moment you embrace your isolation is the moment you become unstoppable. You don't fear the darkness anymore because you've learned how to shine within it. You've become something unbreakable. And now, you're ready to show the world exactly what that looks like. Now that you've faced the isolation, the struggle, and the battle with your inner demons, it's time to step into the light. You've embraced the loneliness, not as something to fear, but as something to conquer. The person you are today is no longer the person who sought comfort in distraction, who cowered in the face of silence. You've emerged, stronger, more resilient, and with a clarity that only solitude can bring. But the journey doesn't stop here. The truth is, isolation wasn't the end of the road. It was just the beginning. You've learned what it means to depend on yourself, to find strength in your own presence. But now, it's time to take that strength and put it into action. The world outside may not understand the transformation you've undergone, but that doesn't matter. What matters is what you've built inside. You've learned to trust in yourself, and that is all you need. It's easy to be swayed by external opinions, to let the noise of the world distract you. But you know better now. You understand that greatness doesn't come from following the crowd. It comes from walking your own path, even when it feels like you're walking alone. So go forward with the confidence that you can create your own destiny. Whether the world acknowledges you or not, your greatness doesn't depend on their validation. It depends on your ability to show up every single day, to keep pushing, to keep grinding, in silence. You've already faced the hardest part, the moment when you thought you wouldn't make it. But here you are, stronger and more determined than ever before. Now it's time to let the world see the result of your isolation. You've prepared yourself for this moment. You've risen from the shadows, ready to take on whatever challenges come your way. This is just the beginning. Keep moving forward. The best is yet to come. Now that you've embraced the truth about isolation, you stand at a crossroads. The journey you've undertaken isn't just for you. It's a message for anyone who's willing to listen. But the question remains, what are you going to do with this newfound power? Will you retreat back into comfort, or will you push forward, using the lessons you've learned to change your life? This is your moment to make a choice. You can either let the world dictate your worth, or you can take the reins and shape your own destiny. The world needs more people who are willing to rise from the ashes of their own struggles. You're one of those people. So, what's next for you? Don't let the fear of isolation stop you from becoming who you were always meant to be. It's time to take the lessons from this journey and put them into action. The choice is yours. Embrace your potential, no matter how dark the path ahead may seem. If this message resonated with you, then don't let it fade away. Take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that together we can continue to explore the power of self-transformation. Let's build a community of individuals who refuse to settle for mediocrity and instead choose to rise to greatness. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going, because isolation is no longer something we fear. It's something we've learned to use to our advantage. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.